Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, a tentative agreement reached averting a railway strike. We'll have the developments. Plus, a famine is ravaging Africa.
People will be forced to flee to look for food. People will have to try and find a way to survive. And obviously this entails very perilous journeys for people who are already marginalized.
We have a first-hand look at the growing crisis, and a fire breaks out in a church in Egypt. Some say it's not an accident. We'll talk to a terrorism expert who says it was caused by the Muslim Brotherhood.
Unfortunately, I do not believe in coincidences, especially that the date was the same date of the anniversary of the Rabbah.
All these stories and more coming up next from the CBN Newsroom.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin this half hour with a developing story. The railroad strike averted. President Biden says a tentative agreement has been reached. Negotiations at the Labor Department going on for hours. Now Biden says the agreement will keep critical rail systems working and avoid economic issues. He says rail workers will get better pay, improved working conditions, and peace of mind with their health care. United States Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh spoke on the agreement today, saying our rail system is an integral part of our supply chain, and a disruption would have had catastrophic impacts on industries, travelers, and families across the country. The agreement goes to union members for a vote now. Title IX is set to get an overhaul as the Biden administration redefines biological sex for students in federally funded schools and universities. The administration plans to combat discrimination on the basis of gender identity and sexual orientation, and recently opened up those changes to public comment, which logged close to 350,000 responses. However, more than half of those disappeared from the record this weekend in a move the Education Department is calling a clerical error. The conflict in Ukraine is having far-reaching consequences, causing violence to flare up as former Soviet countries take advantage of Russia's weakening influence in the region. And the violence has had major consequences for Christians living in the tiny country of Armenia. Chuck Holton is on this story.
Just after midnight on September 13th, Azerbaijan launched a large-scale attack against its neighbor, Armenia. It's the latest battle in a long-running conflict between the Muslim-majority Azerbaijan and Armenia, a country that claims to be the world's first Christian nation. But the attacks on Sunday have more to do with money than with religion. It's the worst attack since 2020, when Azeri forces pushed into the exclave of Artsakh, taking lands populated by Armenians since the time of Noah. CBN was there to witness how the Azeri military put little stock in the value of civilian lives.
So you see this car right here was hit by cluster munitions. All of these little holes are from the thousands of projectiles that are thrown out by these things. They are definitely not meant for civilian areas. They're meant for troops in the open.
The most recent attack looks to be no different.
We have several civilians wounded. The attacks were not only against Armenian military positions, but there were attacks against Armenian civilian towns and villages. Several homes have been damaged, including municipal buildings. So it was an attack against military and civilian infrastructure.
In the current conflict, Azeris aren't attacking a remote area, but Armenia proper. And the objectives have everything to do with the current war in Ukraine.
People here in Armenia are understandably disturbed by the images they see coming out of Ukraine, but it's difficult for them to take a stand against Russia when Russia is the only country that stands between Armenia and their enemies to the east in Azerbaijan.
It's extremely concerning because they are attacking the sovereign territory of the Republic of Armenia, escalating this situation, this theater of hostilities to an all-time high, and it's a very, very dangerous situation at the moment.
The reason they want that is the connector between Azerbaijan and the autonomous country of Nakhchivan to Turkey. and that will allow them to have a pipeline of oil.
Indeed, Western leaders have been meeting recently with Azerbaijan's president to discuss how to get more of the country's oil to make up the shortfalls from Russia this winter. That may have emboldened the Azeris to make this move.
I think this is about money. I think this is about taking those lands right now, because that's where the majority of the attacks are happening.
The U.S. government has so far refrained from condemning the attacks, calling instead on both parties to return to the negotiating table.
There can be no military solution to this conflict. We urge restraint from any further military hostilities. We also encourage both governments to reestablish direct lines of communications across diplomatic and military channels, and to recommit to a diplomatic process to resolve the crisis.
Armenia relies on Russian peacekeepers to uphold a 2020 ceasefire. Given the distraction of the war in Ukraine, Russia may be unable to keep a lid on the hostilities here. That runs the risk of pulling Iran into the conflict, which moved troops to the border on Monday, saying it would not stand for any change in Armenia's territorial borders. While Azerbaijan desperately seeks a path for its oil to the west, many Armenian Christians see something deeper with the current conflict.
I believe this is a spiritual attack. This is a spiritual battle that has been stirred up against them. So pray for the strength and the faith, and that the gospel will continue to go forth here in Armenia, and that it will go forth in these countries that are attacking, because that is the only way we'll have peace, is in Jesus Christ.
I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
One mother's Christian faith is shining through after the public beheading of her son this summer, marking 8 years since ISIS terrorists killed American journalist James Foley. CBN's Gabe LaMonica spoke with his mother, Diane, who credits her faith with giving her the strength to endure and to meet one of her son's killers face to face.
This is James Wright Foley.
After their son's brutal beheading was seen on screens and smartphones around the world, the Foley family walked out of their home in 2014 to face a crowd of cameras.
We know Jimmy's free. He's finally free. And we know he's in God's hands. And we know he's done God's work. And we know he's in heaven.
The Foley's faith overpowering that impromptu front yard appearance.
Every time we started to get despondent all over these 2 years, we thought of Jim. We thought of Jim and his courage, and in the midst of his suffering, he was helping the other prisoners. There were a couple of much younger people in that cell. Jim was one of the older ones, and he would sometimes just hold one of them, we're told.
James Foley's drive to tell stories led to his capture in 2011 and being detained for 44 days in Libya at the hands of loyalists to then-dictator Muammar Gaddafi.
I remember getting photographed with a cell phone. My bloodied head from the blows, getting photographed up close and thinking, this is where they find all these photographs that are evidence of war crimes someday, and realizing this is me now.
Less than 2 years later, Foley was back in the field covering the Syrian civil war. There, he was captured and later infamously beheaded by Islamic State terrorists.
The first thing you lose in war is the truth, right?
Now, nearly a decade since the death of her son James, Diane Foley's faith sustains her.
I've been very blessed, and certainly blessed with the faith that's given me a hope and a strength to endure and to know that Jim's in a better place.
It's through that lens that Foley sees her son's killers.
Our Lord didn't put Jimmy in that situation. It's people who we people are capable of some very nasty things. We Western nations in our country have not been lily white, let's face it. We've done some nasty stuff ourselves after 9/11, Abu Ghraib, Guantanamo. We have some things to hang our own heads in shame.
Even taking the extraordinary step of meeting one of those men face to face.
I met with him 3 times, and I felt that was helpful. I felt it was helpful for Alexander and for myself. I know Jim would have met with him. He wouldn't have wanted me to be afraid of him. And he would have wanted me to let him know the kind of who Jim was. It was the right thing to do. If I truly feel I'm a Christian, you know, that we should be willing to talk to one another, even and hopefully at some point forgive one another.
The Foley Foundation estimates at least 67 Americans remain captive or imprisoned abroad.
Return of Americans is still not a priority.
Foley believes the U.S. could have done more for James and must do more now for those other Americans held around the world. Gabe LaMonica, CBN News.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at the growing crisis in Africa as numerous issues are plaguing the area, causing severe famine. Stay with us. Every 48 seconds, someone dies of hunger in the Horn of Africa. A famine not seen in more than 40 years is now ravaging the continent. Many of the victims are children. It's a perfect storm of back-to-back drought, COVID-19, and fallout from the Ukraine war having combined to create the dire conditions. George Thomas brings us this first-hand look at the growing crisis.
Fatuma Abdi Aluhu has just buried her two sons here on the outskirts of Mogadishu, Somalia. She lays a thorny branch on their graves to protect the bodies from wild animals. Both died from starvation.
I wanted to die before them so they could bury me, but both of them died before me.
Somalia and its neighbors in the Horn of Africa, including Ethiopia and Kenya, are facing unprecedented drought conditions.
We've had 4 failed rains. The drought that we're currently seeing in the Horn of Africa is the worst drought in over 40 years.
On average, one person dies every 48 seconds from hunger in the Horn of Africa.
Because of the drought, many water sources have dried up. Many wells have also dried up.
With crops failing, the United Nations says some 22 million people are at risk of starvation. Many of them farmers who only grow enough food to feed their own families.
People will be forced to flee to look for food. People will have to try and find a way to survive. And obviously this entails very perilous journeys for people who are already marginalized.
Many in the region who rely on livestock for livelihood have seen massive numbers of their animals wiped out.
For example, in northern Kenya, we've lost about 1.5 million heads of livestock. Similarly, in southern Ethiopia, we've lost over 2 million. In Somalia, we even stopped counting.
In Somalia alone, around 8 million people, or half the population, are experiencing crisis hunger levels. 1 in 3 children face chronic malnutrition.
I've been shocked to my core these past few days by the level of pain and suffering we see so many Somalis enduring. Famine is at the door.
Anne Kasambo oversees CBN's offices in Kenya. In partnership with Operation Blessing, they've been distributing food and other aid supplies to some of the hardest hit regions of her country.
It's been quite devastating in some communities, and especially in the arid areas where even when there's rain, food is hard to come by because they're not able to grow the food.
4 consecutive droughts and African economies still reeling from the coronavirus pandemic have created these dire conditions.
As if that was not enough, the situation has been aggravated by the current conflict in Europe between Russia and Ukraine.
Before the war, Somalia imported 90% of its wheat from Russia and Ukraine, while Ethiopia imported 42%. Kenya, which also imports oil, iron, steel, and fertilizers from Russia and Ukraine, imports 44% of its wheat from both countries. All that has come to a screeching halt since war started. The result? Skyrocketing prices for practically everything.
It has really affected us, especially on food prices. It has also affected the cost of fuel.
When the fuel prices go up, the production cost is higher, so everything is affected.
A new survey found most Kenyans are increasingly turning to their savings or taking out loans in order to meet the rising cost of living.
It's been a build-up from COVID to inflation, to drought, to the war in Ukraine. So just before one situation gets better, another one crops up.
In late August, the first ship carrying grain from Ukraine docked on the Horn of Africa, offloading some 2,300 tons of wheat.
That's enough wheat to feed 1.5 million people for about a month.
Food experts say that's a drop in the bucket, considering the immediate crisis facing millions across the Horn of Africa. George Thomas, CBN News, Nairobi, Kenya.
Electrical issues were blamed for a fire at a church in Egypt, but a terrorism expert says it's the Muslim Brotherhood. She explains next. A church fire in Egypt last month killed 41 people, including children. The Egyptian government concluded the St. Mary's Church fire was caused by faulty electrical wiring, but Coptic Christians believe Islamic extremists may have been responsible. Appearing on this week's episode of The Global Lane, terrorism expert Cynthia Farhat places the blame on the Muslim Brotherhood.
Unfortunately, I do not believe in coincidences, especially that the date was the same date of the anniversary of the Rabaa. Some people call it massacre, but it was also a terror operation that was masquerading itself as a peaceful protest. They were protesting with machetes, with swords, with AK-47s. So the fact that the churches were set on fire during the same time, I absolutely do not think that this is a coincidence, especially that the Muslim Brotherhood has been consistently attacking churches since the day they began the terrorism apparatus in the 30s. They have fatwas that they believe in murdering every Christian on the planet. So I don't think it's a coincidence. Maybe this Egyptian government doesn't want to give them leverage or propaganda.
That may be it,
Yeah.
and that may be it. And we know the Muslim Brotherhood has a history of setting churches on fire. Many were attacked when the Egyptian military removed them from power in July of 2013. And contrary to conventional belief, the Brotherhood has a long history of using violence to achieve its goals. And you even mentioned in 1928, when Hassan el-Banna founded the Muslim Brotherhood, it was originally an Islamic jihadist group. So how has it changed over the years? Is it still committed to jihad, or has it shifted to accomplishing its goals peacefully and politically?
The Muslim Brotherhood has never been peaceful. That would defy their reason for existence. They would lose their sole legitimacy. It is a jihadist enterprise. It's a very sophisticated criminal enterprise. The Muslim Brotherhood propagates to the West that they have dismantled their terrorism apparatus, which they call the secret apparatus. But they say this in English, but in Arabic, they brag about its existence. Not only that, the Muslim Brotherhood franchised since 1965 their brand of terrorism and started to operate the secret apparatus under different banners, such as Al-Jamaa al-Islamiyya, the Islamic group, such as Al-Takfir wal-Hijra, excommunication immigration, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, even the Taliban. These are all groups that have either been established by members of the Muslim Brotherhood or established and still operated by members of the Muslim Brotherhood. For example, the founders of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, Osama bin Laden, and Abdullah Azzam were all card-carrying members of the Muslim Brotherhood till the day they died. And that's according to the own words and document of the Muslim Brotherhood themselves. So they have never, ever stopped violence. What they have done is, what's worse than violence, is their covert operation.
During his presidency, Barack Obama invited Brotherhood members to the White House. He offered U.S. support to the Brotherhood rule in Egypt. I'm assuming you believe that was a misguided policy. So why do you feel that way? And how does President Biden's policy toward the Brotherhood differ?
I believe that President Biden's government is the third term of President Obama's. I do not see him at all different in any way. It's just President Obama's third term. And they have consistently supported all types of Islamists. They support Iran. They support the Muslim Brotherhood. They support Brotherhood-affiliated regimes like Qatar. They have destroyed Afghanistan and handed it to the Taliban. And now they are considering reviving the Iran deal. There is a consistent policy to support jihadists and Islamists, unfortunately, with Democratic presidents. And it even started with President Jimmy Carter. There's a pattern that I show in my book of behavior, and I think that patterns reveal intent, and when it's systematically on the side of Islamists, we have to ask ourselves why.
Okay, and I know you believe the solution is to declare them a terrorist organization. The book is The Secret Apparatus, the Muslim Brotherhood's Industry of Death. Cynthia Farahat, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You can catch The Global Lane this evening, where you'll also find leadership changes and the future of the UK focus on tonight's show and the best way to help friends and loved ones in their battle against cancer. You can watch these stories and more on The Global Lane this evening at 8:30 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News channel or download the CBN News app and watch it there. Your Thursday Thankful is coming up next. Stay with us. Time now for your Thursday Thankful. I hope you'll join me in this prayer of gratitude. God, thank you for your pursuit of me. Your goodness runs after me. Your blessings chase me down. I cannot outrun them. With that amazing truth, I encourage you to make this a thankful Thursday. In short, a thankful Thursday indeed. That is a wrap for this edition of CBN News Watch. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.